Not only have the translators changed many words in the Bible and added words and taken words out and changed words, but one thing that is responsible for much of the trouble that's going on in the world right now, in every country in the world, is that the word Jew is not in the Bible, nor is the word Gentile. The translators have added those words. The word is either Judean or Judahite or Yehudi in Hebrew, which does not mean Jew. It is not an ethnicity. The difference, the Bible clearly tells us that the difference between the Judeans and the nations, which is the real word that's been mistranslated, Gentiles, was whether they worshiped the true God or whether they worshiped many pagan gods. The Judahites and the Judeans were the ones either from the tribe of Judah or that worshiped the God who was in the temple in Jerusalem, which was in Judea. And they were called Judeans or Judahites, or in the Hebrew, Yehudi, which is a variation on the word Jehovah, because there was no J in any language until about the 13th century. And so this was a designation of who they worshiped and not an ethnicity.
Not all of a sudden. It's been a few hundred years, right?
The King James Version was written in 1611, and that's when the major change was made. And instead of Judean and Judahite, the word was changed to Jew. The word nations is sometimes actually translated correctly, but and in other parts it's translated heathen, which means non-believer in the true God, and that is also correct. But then they call it Gentiles. What they have done is they've taken a form of worship. In other words, do you worship the true God or do you worship multiple pagan gods? That's what the word Judahite or Judean or Yehudi means, that you worship the true God. And the word nations or heathen means you worship many pagan gods. So it was a form of worship. But what the translators have done is they've changed it into a supposed ethnicity, as though there are ethnic Jews and ethnic Gentiles. The Old Testament Israelites were not Jews. The Old Testament Israelites were just people. And in fact, when they came out of Egypt in the Exodus, the Bible tells us that they were a mixed multitude. They were not Jews. So the present day Jews, those who call themselves Jews, have no relationship at all to the Old Testament Israelites and have no right to the land of Palestine, none at all. The present day Jews, as you well know, are actually of Gentile, if you will, origin. They are barbarian Mongol Turks who accepted the culture and religion of Judaism in about the 8th century. So the present-day Jews, the people who are occupying Israel, have no right to be there. And the whole idea that they are the chosen people is baloney. It has nothing to do with that. Jesus was not a Jew. Almost every religion believes that Jesus was a Jew. An ethnic Jew, he was not. Not only that, the Jews of today say if your mother was a Jew, well, then you are a Jew. But Jesus had lots of non-Israelites in his lineage. Rahab was a Canaanite. She was not an Israelite primarily. Ruth, who married Boaz, was in the line of Jesus, and she was not an Israelite. So this whole idea of confusing everyone in the religious world into thinking that the present-day Jews are somehow the offspring of the Old Testament Israelites is the biggest con game of all time. It's even probably bigger than the Federal Reserve con game, because it is responsible for almost all the wars in the world. Because who's behind all the wars?
Exactly, one particular group.
Right, one particular group. And so when you start looking at that, and this is not, you don't have to be a Hebrew scholar or you don't have to be a Greek scholar to figure this out. All you have to do is either go on the internet and get an interlinear Bible, which has the Greek and the Hebrew and right below the English, and it shows you what these words mean if you have a concordance. And so all you have to do is look these things up. It's very clear there. And in the interlinear Bible, they'll have on the left side, they'll have the literal translation, and on the right side, they'll have the King James translation. And you can see in many instances where they actually